Hello everyone, this is Ben with IncomeOptionsTrading, and today I wanted to go over my trade in SPX, which was the 0 DTE Iron Condor. It's been a while since I've done a video, so figured I would go through the trade today. I did not get stopped out, but I wanted to show the trade today because there was some pretty wild swings to the downside, and just wanted to show that I was not ever tested. So I want to go through that. Just a quick disclaimer that this is not trading advice, and you and only you are responsible for all the trades you put on. Options trading involves a lot of risk, so make sure you know what you're doing before you put on any trades. So I'll also put a link in the description below, but there was a video I did on the expected results of the 0 DTE Iron Condor based on the delta that you choose for the short option. I'll leave that link in the description, but basically I've changed my strategy to go to the 5 delta. Usually before that I was going to the 10 delta, but I found that going to the 5 delta actually gives you a better risk reward ratio, so I've adjusted to the 5 delta. So just a quick background on the trade. I'll just go into SPX here. And today's date was January 19th. So what I did is I actually, if I go to the activity tab, you can see here, this was the Iron Condor I put on. I usually put it in as 2 separate spreads, and I got filled at 8:33 Central. So 3 minutes after the cash market opened, I got filled about 20 seconds apart on the put side and the call side. So on the put side, my short strike was the 45.20 put, which was about the 5 or 6 delta, and I got filled on the 46.65 call, which was the 5 or 6 delta call. You can see I got filled for $1 on the spread for the put and 85 cents on the call side. If we look at the VIX is had a nice bump today, but it's been in the low 20s, which is better than it's been at the end of last year. So we're getting a little bit more premium here for the 5 delta put and call. 2 months ago maybe we were getting closer to 50 cents for the spread, so that's a nice change. So if we look at the chart here, and I already took the time to graph this out so you guys can already do it. I just put in some trend lines, some price times, or price line, time level, quick thing that Tastyworks added recently. If you double click on the trend line and go to coordinates, you can put in the date, the time, and the price you want. Thinkorswim has that, so Tastyworks just added it. That's a nice feature, so you can chart with that. So I marked here at 8:33. This is a 2-minute chart just for today. So this says 8:32, but this line is for 8:33. That's when I put the trade on. The price was somewhere in here around 45.96 when I put it on. And I drew out a trend line up to my short call and my short put at 3 o'clock Central when the market closed. So these trend lines are kind of a nice reference to see how much if you can expect your put or call to be tested. And you can see here right away the call side was more tested than the put side, and then a little bit later on the put side was a little bit more tested. Then we had a nice uptick right here. And so from then on, I was not tested, even though we had this much larger drop from around lunchtime through the end of the day. So we can also go to the option chain here. And so the 45.20 strike is what I sold. SPX closed at 45.32.76, so we were pretty close to the 45.20. So got pretty lucky that we didn't get stopped out. So if you right click on the bid or the ask, you can view the option in the chart. And so this was the price that it was at today. So on the short put, I got 107. And for my Iron Condor, I always set the stop loss at 3x the what I get on the short option. So this would be 3 something. So if I go into activity here, I just toggle on cancel. You can see my stop loss that I had today. So on the put side, I had the 330, 370. So my stop trigger was 330 with the upper limit at 370. I usually make these 40 cents apart, and I haven't been blown through yet. I've been doing this for a year and a half now, so that's what I've done. So 330 is the upper limit, and if we go back here, we can see the highest we got looks like 225. So we're still $1 away from getting stopped out, even though we had some down movement below this trend line that I drew. And even later on, even though we had these big drastic moves, there wasn't a lot of time left to hit my short option. So I go back to the put side here. Down here, there wasn't a whole lot of movement. It did get back up to, looks like a high of 85 cents here around 130 Central. But it didn't get close to that 330 mark. And on the call side, we can do the same thing. So on the call side, I had my stop trigger at 280 and my stop limit at 320. And if we go here, scroll down to the call side, view option and chart, you can see right away there was some high ticks. This one was 160. This is still $1 away, but you can see that it spiked right after I put it on. But then it came down. It wasn't ever tested again. And this right here, where it went up, if I go back to the SPX price chart, you can see that we went up and we were above the trend line right away. So one thing that I wanted to show with this is earlier on, these smaller moves have more impact than these later on giant moves. Because you can see from 230 or so, the last half hour SPX dropped 40 points, which is almost 1%. So that's a pretty big move. But my short put wasn't ever tested. So I think that's all I wanted to touch on for the Iron Condor. Just to touch on what I do for the long is at the beginning of the day, I choose my short options at the 5 delta, and then I buy the long put and the long call that I can for 5 cents. So they're going to be varying widths. So on the put side, it was 45.20, 44.40. So that's $80 wide on the put side, and on the call side, it's 46.65 to 4700. So that's $35 wide on the call side. That's what you'll see generally, about a 2-to-1, where your call side will be about half of the width of the put side due to put skew. So I just go out and I buy the first one I can for 5 cents, usually when the bid is 5 and the ask is 10 cents. And I'll get filled somewhere around like 7 cents. But I like to do this more as a synthetic strangle rather than an Iron Condor, just to have the odds in my favor. So that's all I wanted to touch on today, just a little bit of an anatomy of the Iron Condor trade that I do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do check my website for if there's any FOMC meetings. So those are days that I will usually skip or get out early, because at 1 o'clock Central Time, typically when the FOMC meeting comes out, and then Jerome Powell talks at 1:30 Central, those tend to move the markets pretty wildly the last couple hours of the day. And the premium from market open to 1 o'clock doesn't really get sucked out, so there's not a lot of decay. So I found that those days there's a lot more risk involved, so I try to skip those or stay extra small. So my website is IncomeOptionsTrading.com. I have some blogs, some references on there for what I look at for 0 DTE and some earnings. I do have a Discord as well if you're interested. I post all my trades, 0 DTE trades, along with my other trade strategies. I also have trade logs that you have access to, so you can see my P&L, the trades that I'm in, how I've done in the past, all that good stuff. So that's available as well if you click the join button just below this video. It's $10 a month. It's the gold membership. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at IncomeOptionsTrading@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.